Gratitude is not something grand that arrives with fanfare. It lives quietly in the corners of our daily life. The Stoics taught us that peace does not come from what we possess, but from how we perceive what we already have. Every morning, when we awaken, we are given a silent invitation to see the simple blessings, the breath we draw, the sunlight resting on our skin, the comfort of being alive another day. Gratitude, in its purest form, is a way of saying yes to life as it is. It softens the sharp edges of our worries and returns us to the present moment. When we learn to be grateful not for perfect days, but for ordinary ones, the noise within begins to quiet. Gratitude turns aging into ripening and time into a gentle teacher. In the end, peace is not found in abundance, but in appreciation. With each passing year, our eyes begin to see more clearly that nothing is owed to us, yet everything is a gift. The Stoics urged us to reflect each night on what went well, not as a ritual of pride, but as an act of humility, to recognize that even small mercies, warm food, kind words, a soft bed are treasures, is to live richly. Many people chase happiness as if it were a destination, but the Stoic knows it's found in gratitude's stillness. The act of noticing is itself an awakening. Gratitude transforms the fleeting into the eternal. It anchors us amid change. The older we become, the more we understand that gratitude is not a response to good fortune, it is the creator of it. In gratitude, we discover that nothing more is needed. There are mornings when aches greet us before sunlight does, and yet even then, gratitude can be found. The Stoics did not deny discomfort, they accepted it as a part of life's design. They taught that even pain, when seen rightly, carries a lesson. Gratitude is not about pretending the hurt isn't there, but about seeing that it doesn't define the whole of existence. The body may grow slower, but the heart can still move swiftly toward appreciation. We can give thanks not just for ease, but for endurance, not only for comfort, but for courage. Aging teaches us that strength is not in youth, but in grace. And perhaps every pain is just another reminder to cherish what still remains unbroken. It is easy to feel grateful when life smiles at us, but the real test is gratitude in adversity. The Stoics believed that hardship was not an interruption to life, but a part of it. When challenges come, they strip away illusion and reveal what is essential. Gratitude in those moments is not a denial of pain, but an act of defiance against despair. To say thank you in difficulty is to declare that you will not be defeated by circumstance. Gratitude gives the heart a strength that cannot be stolen. It becomes the steady flame that endures even when the winds of life grow cold. When we choose gratitude amid suffering, we reclaim our power. And in that quiet strength, peace is reborn. The older we get, the more we realize that life owes us nothing, and this realization, though sobering, is profoundly freeing. The Stoics urged us to see that expectation is the enemy of peace. Gratitude blooms when we stop demanding and start appreciating. When we stop measuring what's missing and start valuing what's present, the world feels softer. Even the simplest things, clean air, gentle laughter, a familiar song, become enough. The Stoic heart finds beauty in sufficiency. Aging gracefully means learning to live in that space between desire and acceptance. In that space, gratitude breathes. Each day offers a chance to practice gratitude as an inner discipline, not a passing emotion. The Stoics believed that gratitude must be trained, like a muscle of the mind. It begins with awareness, pausing to notice, to reflect, to appreciate before reacting. When we cultivate this habit, our perspective shifts from scarcity to sufficiency. Life becomes less about acquiring and more about understanding. Gratitude reveals the quiet harmony between what we have and what we truly need. In that harmony, serenity resides. Over time, gratitude ceases to be something we do and becomes something we are. We often think gratitude is a reaction to good fortune, but the Stoic knows it is a choice, independent of circumstance. Even when storms gather, we can be thankful for the lesson of endurance. Gratitude is the act of aligning our hearts with reality rather than resisting it. To thank life for both its gifts and its trials is to walk in wisdom. As we age, this wisdom deepens because we see that every loss was also a teacher. The things we once took for granted become sacred in memory's light. Gratitude, then, is not blind optimism. It is clear-sighted acceptance. It teaches us that peace is not the absence of hardship, but the presence of perspective. When we practice daily gratitude, we learn that simplicity holds the deepest joy. The Stoics lived without excess, not because they scorned comfort, but because they knew peace thrives in simplicity. To appreciate what is enough, that is the essence of freedom. Each unnecessary desire chains us to restlessness, while each grateful breath sets us free. The older we become, the more precious this freedom feels. Gratitude simplifies the soul, brushing away the dust of discontent. In simplicity, life's details regain their brilliance: the rustle of leaves, the warmth of tea, the sound of a loved one's voice. Gratitude restores our sight to what truly matters. Sometimes gratitude appears in silence, not in words. The Stoics often found peace in contemplation, where thankfulness had no need for expression. To sit quietly and feel content with being is a profound gratitude in itself. In silence, we sense the rhythm of existence, the way life continues, regardless of our fears. Aging gives us this gift of slowing down, of seeing more deeply what we once rushed past. Gratitude turns solitude into sanctuary. It whispers that peace is not something we must find, it is already here. The quiet heart knows this truth without needing to speak it. In moments of loss, gratitude can feel impossible. Yet the Stoic mind knows that even grief holds a strange kind of gratitude. The gratitude for having loved at all. Every farewell is proof that something once mattered deeply. Gratitude doesn't erase sorrow. It transforms it. It turns tears into remembrance, and remembrance into wisdom. The heart that can thank even in grief has found an unshakable peace. Aging, too, is a series of small farewells, but gratitude makes each one gentle. To be grateful for what was, rather than mourn what is gone, is to walk with grace through impermanence. Gratitude invites us to see the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. The Stoics remind us that peace is born in acceptance. When we stop fighting reality, gratitude naturally rises. It is not complacency but clarity, the understanding that everything has its place in the order of things. Even discomfort, even uncertainty, are part of life's balance. Gratitude aligns us with that balance and keeps our hearts calm amidst chaos. To live gratefully is to live harmoniously with fate, and in that harmony, we find an enduring tranquility. When we think of aging, we often focus on what fades, but gratitude draws our eyes to what endures. The Stoics would say that while the body weakens, character strengthens. Each wrinkle tells a story of endurance, each memory a testament to survival. Gratitude allows us to see aging not as loss, but as harvest. The years give us depth that youth cannot. To be grateful for time is to honor its work upon us. And perhaps, to age gratefully is the highest form of wisdom. Gratitude also changes how we relate to others. The Stoics believed in the unity of all mankind, that gratitude should extend beyond the self. Each act of kindness, each shared smile, becomes part of a greater web of connection. When we are grateful for others, we cultivate compassion. We stop comparing and start understanding. Gratitude turns relationships into reflections of harmony rather than competition. It teaches us to give thanks not just for what others offer, but for their presence itself. In gratitude, love finds its quiet strength. To practice gratitude is to remember that nothing lasts, and that is precisely why it is precious. The Stoics taught memento mori, the remembrance of death, not to sadden but to awaken us. When we realize that time is fleeting, every moment becomes sacred. Gratitude flourishes in that awareness. It reminds us to savor each day, each breath, each fleeting joy. The fragility of life gives it beauty. Gratitude does not fear endings. It honors them. And so, each day we live becomes a silent thank you to existence itself. There is also gratitude for the self, for the simple act of enduring. The Stoics urged self-respect rooted not in pride, but in integrity. To be grateful for your own persistence, your own quiet strength, is to honor the human spirit. Gratitude for oneself is not arrogance, it is acknowledgement. It says, "I have walked through storms and am still standing." Such gratitude builds resilience. It teaches us to meet each new challenge with steadiness. To thank yourself is to recognize the divine endurance that lives within you. Each sunset offers a lesson in gratitude. The Stoics saw nature as a mirror of reason and beauty. To watch the day fade and give thanks is to understand life's rhythm, how all things must end to begin again. Nature teaches us that gratitude is not a single act, but a cycle. The more we appreciate, the more peace returns to us. Gratitude turns the passing of time into poetry. It reminds us that endings are not to be feared, but to be honored. And with each sunset, we practice letting go gracefully, even in solitude. Gratitude can be our companion. The Stoics valued solitude as the space where the soul meets itself. When alone, gratitude grows without distraction. It reminds us that being alone is not being empty, it is being whole. To sit in,